questions. I want to talk about curative interventions versus therapeutic interventions, and then towards the end I want to talk about cancer and some of these questions I've been getting about these amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and multiple sclerosis, and basically these chronic degenerative neurological diseases which have become epidemic in our society today. So let's talk about therapeutic intervention first. When we say therapeutic intervention, we're talking about most of allopathic medicine is therapeutic intervention and not curative. For instance, if you have high blood pressure, we'll give you high blood pressure medication and it brings your blood pressure down. If we are on a naturopath, the naturopath may say take bilberry root or take garlic, and that will bring your blood pressure down. Does that cure the condition? Either the natural route or the allopathic route? The answer is no. Those are therapeutic interventions, not curative interventions. In other words, they are symptomatic repressors, not cures. So, what else will be a therapeutic intervention? How about Reiki? All the Reiki masters, the Reiki healing, the energy healers, which at least is getting more towards the root of the problem, but still a therapeutic intervention. Chakra alignment. What else? We have all the different types of massage therapy, Swedish massage therapy. We have, what else will be considered? Chiropractic intervention. We have acupuncture, acupressure. Those are therapeutic interventions. We have, what else do we have? I think you get the point of what I'm talking about. These are things that can be helpful. We can talk about colon hydrotherapy. Again, a therapeutic intervention, not a curative intervention. But all these can be part of a curative program, you see. But they're not cures in and of themselves. They are pieces of the puzzle at best, and woefully fall short of what the real cause is, because none of those address the accumulation of waste in the sewer system of the body, which I'm now referring to as toxic acidosis. Some refer to it as toxemia. It doesn't matter what name you call it. It's basically a buildup of waste. It's waste that the cells make because when they respire, okay, when they undergo their metabolic processes to make the energy, and we talked about that in the last video, so go please see about ATP, the ADP, and the nuclear body that we've all inherited. And I may be the first guy to actually say that, you know, the human body is a nuclear body. Everybody calls it a bioelectric body. Yeah, there's definitely support for that. But yeah, at the very nature of our energy production is nuclear energy. Period. End of sentence. A breaking of a bond to produce energy. So, with all these therapeutic intervention, is there anything else that comes to mind? I'm trying to figure out if something else comes to mind. Kinesiology comes to mind. Physical therapy comes to mind. Pretty much all the herbs. If you're taking an herb for a specific problem, that is a therapeutic intervention and not a curative intervention. Now, what would be a curative intervention? Since we now know that 95% of all human misery, suffering, and disease comes from toxic acidosis. Cellular waste, waste from things we put on our skin, from things we breathe in, and from things we put in our mouths. We can get toxins from the shower water. That's why I recommend, and I'm now doing this myself. I have shower filters on every shower in the house, although I don't think that's going to get the job done. Intuitively, something's telling me I need a whole home reverse osmosis filter. After February 25th, so the whole month of March, I'm going to be looking into that, giving research on that, and I'll let you know what my findings are, and I'll do a whole topic on just water once I get that, or maybe I'll give you a prelim on water, and then we can talk about the water filtration systems and what I consider good healthy water and what is not good healthy water. Obviously, I hope you all know we should not be drinking the tap water, and if you can, don't drink water of any kind that's sitting in a plastic bottle, especially a plastic bottle that's sitting out in the heat. More toxins from the plastic. We know about BPA, but there's probably hundreds of other toxins that we haven't tested for, don't know about. If we know about it, there's not been forthcoming information to the general public. So, curative intervention. Curative intervention, again, always takes us to the top of the chain. Raw food eating, detoxification, hydration, oxygenation, nutrient-dense food, sunlight, proper thinking, positive thinking, understanding who you truly are, which is a spiritual light being, massively creative with massive powers that can be unleashed at any time, but of course we've been put to sleep. Some of it on purpose, some of it necessary for us to participate in this genre of life, but we can wake up, and some of us are waking up. We have historical representations of people who have woken up and really demonstrated what can be done with matter, with mind over matter, with consciousness over everything, and then with the power of love. But getting back to a curative intervention. Curative intervention can only come from a lifestyle change. You have a knee problem. You have a back problem, which are now epidemic in the culture. And I've put living in pain, and really I should have said living in chronic pain and what to do about it. I did an article, part 1, part 2, and there's a video, part 3, that sums it all up. So just watch the video about how the body deals with pain and inflammation. But it is still reacting to toxic acidosis. It is reacting to a buildup of waste products, of acid waste products within the system, and these acid waste products are not being eliminated. These toxic products that can also not only just accumulate in lymph, they can also accumulate in fat. This is why meat eaters are warned that if you're going to eat meat, eat clean or organic meat that you can, and don't eat the fat, because fat is where these animals will store their toxins. This is where humans store fat-soluble toxins. Water-soluble toxins will go out into the lymphatic system, since that's a water-soluble system. Yes, there's fatty toxins in there as well, but the body really just usually stores these toxins in fat because it doesn't have a quick way of getting it out of the system, so it stores it in fat. That's why some of you, when you're going on a weight loss program, and I don't recommend a weight loss program, I recommend a weight loss mentality that involves a consciousness of a raw food diet, getting as close to 100% that you can, cutting out meat altogether, cutting out dairy, cutting out corn, cutting out GMO, cutting out soy. Vegetarians, please don't go there with the soy, the tempeh, all the stuff that, well, if you take a bad substance to begin with, which is soy, and then we somehow modify it, it becomes good. No, it doesn't. It's still bad. Okay, you're not going to take a good substance and do some magic voodoo on it, and all of a sudden make it good because you fermented it, and well, this bad stuff came out of it when you no, just stay away from the stuff. It's no good. Stay away from it. I put the soy and all that really, I mean, these are estrogenic compounds to begin with. Most of the toxins that we're dealing with, and I can't remember the guy's name right now, Curtis Duncan. So another one of guys that I will follow on YouTube because he knows science, he's taught science. He has done research on the toxins, especially these pesticides, and some of these industrial chemicals that we find in the environment that are estrogenic in nature, feminizing men. I don't know if there's research on whether or not the increase in homosexuality is because of that or not. I don't have anything against whatever your sexual orientation is, as long as you're not hurting somebody else. I don't really give a damn. It's not, that has nothing to do with anything. Everyone is loved equally, and no judgment should be made, because everybody's got some sort of sexual quirk or something that's not, doesn't follow the straight and narrow. But like I said, as long as you're an adult, you're not harming anyone in the process, and it's between two consenting adults. It's not me to make moral judgments for that. It doesn't occupy my thinking. But what does occupy my thinking is that these not only can they feminize males, but there are some chemicals that actually masculinize females. That's a whole talk for another discussion. You check out Curtis Duncan, and I think that it's a travesty that purposely we're going out using these type of toxins that we know will have an effect on the sterility of male and females. So this is chemical sterility done on the down low, very, very dirty pool, and people are suffering, developing all kinds of disease, and don't know why. And these toxins are bioaccumulative, meaning they don't, just because you stop taking them, or if you continue to eat them, they will accumulate. And a lot of my research shows that these bioaccumulation of toxins is what's at the core of a lot of these chronic neurogenic diseases, so chronic neurological degenerative diseases like amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, aka Lou Gehrig's disease, or like multiple sclerosis, aka MS. And the list goes on and on. They say there's an autoimmune component to that. Well, there's not going to be an autoimmune component to any of those types of diseases unless something is breaking down, exposing what shouldn't be exposed to the immune system, and then causing a reaction. So there is a breakdown of neurological tissue, and then the immune system reacts. And we already have an overreactive or underreactive or both in the same body sometimes, because the immune system is primarily living in the lymph system, which is your main sewerage pipes, right? So think of it as the piping, the plumbing in the house that's taking waste out, okay? And where will it dump the waste? Once it takes it out, it's taking it to the kidneys. And then from the kidneys, it then takes it out through your urine, okay? And this is why urine is always acid. As a matter of fact, if I test your urine and it's not acid, and I just had a guy in the hospital the other day, I just looked at his urine, 7.0. I'm like, okay, either that's a lab error or we got a problem. And then I looked at his creatinine, I looked at his BUN, blood urea nitrogen. These are all measures of kidney function, and his was at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. The lab at the hospital says it can be up to 1.5. Listen, you start getting you start getting into the ones point anything, you need to be below 1 with your creatinine. So anyone who gets a creatinine done by the doctors, it needs to be below 1. The doctor won't say anything until it gets, above or near what the upper limit of normal is. For me, it's not good enough, because the kidney function, the gastrointestinal function, the urinary function, the bladder function, the lung function, because remember, lungs excrete a waste product too. CO2, among other things, can be measured in the excretions. And also the skin also is an excretory organ, but it also absorbs. So the skin is a two-way street. So be careful what you put on your skin. And like I said, the only thing I really put on my skin now on a consistent basis is coconut oil. And I know that it's not going to just stay in my skin. When I rub it on my skin, it moisturizes the skin, but the body just absorbs it in. So I always use organic, non-refined organic coconut oil. and that's all I put on my skin. I feel sorry for the woman out there, because you guys with the lipsticks and this makeup and that makeup and this, and then all this stuff is draining down into your breast and the rest of your lymphatic system, and then you take antibiotics on top of that, and then the doctors give you more toxic poisons to repress symptoms, and all you have to do is clean out your makeup cabinet. Get real natural and organic. You can go to the Moroccan method on and buy organic makeups that are just as good or better. They're probably a little bit more expensive. Yes, I'm sure they are. But guess what? Is there a price on your health? So curative intervention is always detoxification through a combination of water, a combination of raw foods. Why? Because it's more hydrating and more water, right? And when we talk about fruits and vegetables, which contain more water, obviously the fruits. Now there are some of the vegetables like tomatoes you can actually consider a fruit. Avocado is not high in water content. Celery is high in water content. Cucumbers are high in water content, and there are others. But yeah, you want the high hydrating fruit to help with cleansing. So if you got a serious problem, now we can get to talking about cancer and the other neurological disease. If you have a serious problem, if I had a serious problem, if I had a chronic problem, I would 100% go on a raw food diet. Right now I'm at about 75%, 80%, okay? But it wouldn't even be a question. For the time that I have to deal with whatever this chronic problem is, until the time it goes away, I'm in detoxification mode. I'm in detoxification consciousness. I'm 100% raw food. I don't care how you do it, juicing, smoothie, whatever you have to do. I'm also in some supplementation mode. Really, at that point, you're using herbs to rebuild, regenerate, but you're also using herbs to help the detoxification. Yes, there are herbs that can open up your kidneys and rebuild the tissue in your kidneys. Yes, there are herbs that can get that lymph moving, right? And if you move a little bit and exercise just a little bit, not a lot, especially during detoxification, because remember, when your cells respire, they produce waste, so you don't want to go crazy when you're trying to detoxify. You want to kind of get into rest mode. When animals get sick, they don't go running around crazy. They stop eating, which brings me to my next point, and they drink very, very little bit of water, but usually that's all they do. They naturally go on a detoxification phase, water fasting. Now, the greatest form of detoxification is the water fast, okay? And then right before that would be the juice fast, where you're doing nothing but juices, so fluids, and then of course ultimately water. Sometimes people can use lemon with the water, but water fasting is probably the quickest way to health. It's also the most radical, and it's also the one part of detoxification that can cause the most problems. And so with the uneducated who don't have a lot of experience with detoxification, we've got to get you there gradually. We got to get you on the raw food diet. We got to get you drinking more water. We got to get you on more fruits, berries, melons, watermelons, blueberries, blackberries, apples, oranges, and ripe ones, please, and organic, please. Whenever pineapples are okay if you can get them ripe. Honeydew melons, and learning how to pick these fruits when they're ripe, because you don't want to get them when they're high acidic. Or you don't want to get them when they're not right, because they don't taste right, they don't have the bioelectric, and they don't have the fluid, and you're just not going to have a good experience if the fruit is not right. I think that makes common sense. But yeah, and you find creative ways to make yourself 100% raw. Okay? Now, did I say you would have to stay 100% raw? I did not. But if I had a serious illness like cancer, we had Catherine Albright, who is a regular on George Norrie's Coast to Coast, and I love Coast to Coast. I listen to it. It's very mentally stimulating, and it really gives you a platform just to say, man, there's a lot of things to think about that's going on in this world. So he has some very interesting guests. But Catherine Albright is a cancer survivor of breast cancer. At no point did I hear her when she was going through her breast cancer treatment. She did a lot of research, and God bless you, Catherine. I know your heart's in the right. She cleaned up her diet, I'm sure, quite a bit. She took the right supplements, and she did a combination of standard medical intervention and natural intervention, as well as supplementation. The problem is, at no point did I hear her say that she went on a water fast. At no point did I hear that she went on a 90-day detoxification. At no point did I hear her espouse the benefits of a raw food diet. And so now what has happened to Catherine? Catherine now just had brain surgery because she's had malignant tumors in her brain. And guess what? Catherine, if you do not go on a raw food diet and understand that detoxification stands as the king alone of all curative interventions, you're going to have a problem. Now, of course, meditation helps. Of course, getting the positive thinking going. Of course, having faith and confidence in yourself is important. Of course, keeping low stress or learning how to deal with stress better. Dealing with letting go of old emotional programs and old emotional energies that we hold on from childhood, from trauma, from past experiences, even from maybe past life experiences. There's a body of thinking now that some of these past life emotional things can still be with us, which wouldn't be surprising if we're light beings that, and the light being's the same and we're going through multiple incarnation, which I believe we are. Anybody who thinks that we have a one-shot chance as far as cosmic life is concerned, it's got to be insane, man. We are actually immortal beings in our true nature. But of course here within the body we're not immortal beings for obvious reasons. But the light being part of us is immortal. And the more that we can open up the body to that light being, to that light energy, to the sun energy, to Mother Earth energy, to the grounding energy, to the soil energy, to the plant and living food vibration, the more we will actually vibrate ourselves right out of disease. Okay, and that's the key. So we're opening up the sewer system, we're cleaning out the GI tract, we're opening up the sewer system in the body, we're letting the skin do its thing, we're letting the lungs work properly, we're draining from the brain all the way down, from the legs up, we're getting those kidneys filtering, and I would say a lot of us don't have our kidneys filtering. Listen, I was shocked to find out that my right kidney is not working as well as my left kidney. Okay, but if you look at my blood work, the blood work looks good, right? Because one kidney can compensate for the weakness of another. That's why we have two. But you know, when the right kidney is not doing right, you're going to end up with an accumulation of issues on the right side of your body. Okay, and then intuitively you'll get into yourself energetically and begin to listen to yourself. And that's the other thing, we have to listen. We have to have an inner a calm and inner peace, so that we can listen to what the body's telling us. We can intuitively understand what's going on, and then make the movement in the right direction. But always under the structure of the ultimate curative intervention, which is detoxification, using the raw food diet, water, herbs, targeted herbs specifically for detoxification, and then after that you can then use targeted herbs to start rebuilding and healing tissues. And I'll get into on the third installment of the of supplements part 3, because I've done 1 and 2. Part 3, I'll get into specific herbs, the detoxification herbs, the rebuilding herbs, and that's basically it. We want to use herbs to either detoxify and rebuild and help in the regeneration process. We are only using these things to help the body do what it will do naturally. But again, we cannot continue to crap in a toilet bowl that's already been stuffed up and is already overflowing. And that's what most of us are doing. It will drive the immune system crazy. It will make the brain sluggish and foggy. It will get us dumbed down. It will make us easier to fool, because most of us have been fooled. Most of us have been lied to. Most of us are programmed guinea pigs, myself included. And now I'm starting to wake up. At least I got one little blinder halfway off, and now the light's starting to come in. But I got a long way to go. And so I'm not sitting here as the wise guy who's, already done everything and knows everything. Well, no, but I have some specific training in a specific area, and I have taken responsibility for other people's lives, so I can sit here and tell you what it's like. I can sit here and tell you what my experience is about. I can use the language, hopefully, to communicate to you what's going on, and to get you to do some of your own research based on some of what I'm saying and some of what some of my other colleagues are saying. Please check out Dr. Robert Morse, M-O-R-S-E, ND, naturopath out of Florida. He's extremely good, actually one of my mentors. I took one of his courses to understand detoxification, and I use his herbs exclusively when I'm doing detoxification. Now, listen, all herbs that are coming from a commercial process are expensive. Most herbs, if you buy them in bulk, by themselves, are extremely cheap. And you can get good, clean, organic old herbs. I've used now with mountain rose herbs up in Oregon is my primary go-to right now. I've used blessed herbs. There's 4 or 5 different companies. I'll list them on the website when I get a chance to write an article about herbs and herbology. And I'll probably at some point teach a course on it, because it's very important that we understand the beauty of these plants and these herbs, and the simplest herbs to the most exotic herbs that are grown in South America and in the rainforest. We should understand powdered arco, camel, maca, black maca, red maca, cacao. And again, you don't go crazy with this stuff, because somebody you overdo it, it can be toxic. Okay, remember, chlorella, spirulina, all this stuff has to be taken as part of a strategy for either detoxification or rebuilding and regeneration. You got to know where you are. So if I had cancer, like Catherine Albrecht, the first time that I was diagnosed with it, or the first time I even felt a lump in my breast, it's automatic. A trip to 100% detoxification, and then I get my behind on a plane, and I will go down and see Lauren Lockman, who's an expert on water fasting. I would work myself into the point where I said, okay, now it's time for water fasting. And I'll talk to you about that, about what it's time for water fasting, or you can call Lauren yourself and go to get a free consult with him and ask him what you need to do to prepare for a water fast, because that, my friends, will kick your butt. It will pull out toxins. I listened to a story of a guy that went down to Costa Rica, which is where the Tanglewood Wellness Center is, which is where he's fasting, guys. But there's other centers that will do water fasting just as well. But some of them are, when you get into this level of thinking, this consciousness of thinking, there's a spirituality to it. There's a metaphysics to it. There's an energy, frequency, vibration. There's a wisdom that has to come along with this. It can't just be tunnel vision, and when you're working with somebody and they're going through a fasting process under your coaching and your guidance, and all of a sudden they start having trouble, and then you give up the ship and back off. No, they're supposed to have trouble. When I go on my water fast, and folks, I'm going to try and get it done this year, at least a 14-day water fast, and then coming out of it for 7 days. And I may go down to the Tanglewood clinic. I may give Mr. Lockman a call and ask him if that's the thing I should do. But I really believe that water fasting really is the ultimate form of detoxification, but most of you are not ready for it. Most of you can't even get around a raw food diet for 90 days. Now, at least I could do that. That was not a problem. Staying raw for life, that's a problem for me, and maybe a problem for most people, and I don't even know if it's a realistic goal. To me, it becomes a realistic goal when you're doing more than just trying to heal the body. It's when you're trying to integrate energy centers, you're trying to wake up the Kundalini energy, you're trying to get this heart chakra to open up and vibrate at the highest rate of vibration to allow the energies to go to the throat chakra, the brow chakra, and the crown chakra. For really, this will be cosmic expansion, and a spiritual development, if you can call it spiritual development. It's hell, everything's spiritual. But this is we're talking about cosmic expansion, increasing your awareness of self, and therefore increasing your awareness of why you're here, increasing your awareness of your true self-identity, increasing your awareness of what love is about, and increasing your awareness of how to deal with your fellow man and how to live your dreams, which is what these discussions are all about. Degenerative neurological disease like multiple sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, myasthenia gravis, muscular dystrophy, systemic lupus erythematosus, which is an autoimmune disease. I lump them all together. These all have to be dealt with through detoxification. The problem is, when we end up getting these types of disorders, it becomes very, very scary to the individual. And what do? We run to the doctor. Now, I'm a doctor. I would say that most of my colleagues practicing medicine today should have their licenses revoked. I'll say it again. Most of my colleagues practicing medicine today should have their licenses revoked. The licensing board should be torn down. It is a disgrace to see how medicine is practiced today, giving out drugs and more pharmaceuticals and more pharmaceuticals, and somehow thinking we're going to get a cure with that. I have my father who's in New York. Now this is a poor fellow he's on 8 different drugs and I think 14 pills. Hello, Pop, you will not heal taking those drugs. The problem is, one drug does something, it throws the body out of whack, then you give another drug to try and rebalance that, then that has side effects and toxins, and we go on and on and on and on. And then they tell you, take your statin drugs. And then they tell you there's no cure for diabetes type 1 when we know we can cure diabetes type 1. Not all diabetes type 1, because if you've really screwed yourself up, sometimes, yes folks, sometimes we reach a point of no return and we die. So, sorry, that's just the way it is. I mean, we are dealing with nature, and nature is heavy-handed sometimes, but also nature is very forgiving most of the time. So it gives us a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance, a sixth chance. Well, how many chances do you need before you wake the hell up? You gotta wake up. Excuse me if I sound exacerbated, because I've been in the hospital all day. Luckily, I went to play basketball at 55 with young kids and still was able to compete at a very high level. Most of it is this. This is in pretty decent condition. Although I could probably drop a few more pounds. That will happen. Remember, as far as this raw food revolution, and you have guys that have been in 20 years, 25 years, 14, 15, 16 years. I've been in this understanding I've been in naturopathic medicine for quite a while, but understanding true detoxification, the raw food diet, a year and a half. That's it. A year and a half. But if a physician, and also Global Healing Center is a good source. Go to their YouTube channel. I can't remember the doctor's name yet, but he's pretty damn. He's pretty on point. And he has a healing center, Global Healing Center. I've only been involved in the raw food diet and experimenting with it for a very short period of time. So those of you wishing to jump on board and push your diet beyond 50%, 60%, 70%, 75, 80, 85, 90% raw, this is the time to do it. Do it with me. And I'm going to share what my experiences are, what the pitfalls are. I already know one of the pitfalls is not getting enough minerals. So when we go on a raw food diet, we still may have to supplement with something to give us the minerals, and that's why the herbs are so good, because they're concentrated and they're usually extremely high in mineral content. Okay, and they're vibrating at a particular frequency, a particular energy that encodes information to the cells, to the body, and allows to facilitate a process of detoxification and then a process of regeneration and rebuilding. So if you sit there and you run to your doctor for these degenerative neurological diseases, including cancer, for the most part, you're going to be disappointed. You look at the cancer cure rates with chemotherapy, and they're about 10% or below. Not very good. Why would it be? When the very thing that caused cancer was the toxins, acids, electromagnetic radiation. And by the way, so one of the things about healing is getting yourself into where the electromagnetic flow is balanced and not chaotic, like will come from a computer screen, which comes from a television set, which is why you don't want a bunch of electronics in your room. You don't want to be near power lines either, and I've talked about that too in previous videos. But of course, we have to, revisit this stuff over and over and over again for my benefit and for your benefit. So again, it's simple, but it's that difficult because it really is that difficult. People talk about going on a raw food diet like it's so simple. Ain't that simple. It requires a change in consciousness, a change in thinking, an understanding, some education, some knowledge, a perceptual and a conceptual framework, which would put the knowledge in, and then consistent action based on the faith of knowing what's going to happen. And once you take the action and you get the proper results, then it's no longer faith, or even confidence for that matter. Matter of fact, it is confidence because you know what's going to happen. Good things are going to happen. Healing is going to happen. Cure is going to happen. You can go to Reiki Heals, you can get the massage, you can get your needles put on you can get your acupuncture, your chiropractors. The girlfriend's talking about, my back is hurting. Fine, you put a cold press on it, go to a chiropractor, get a massage. Yes, it will relax the muscles, and you'll feel better. But it's not going to heal the muscle. What will heal the muscle is, number one, resting that muscle, and number two, cleansing the body, detoxifying, stopping all meat, all soy, all dairy, all Gatorade, all power aid, all the crazy energy drinks that the kids are drinking now and adults, all coffees, all the crap, 100% organic raw food, fruits and vegetables, and that is it. And water. That is it. And then and if you got serious problems, then we may be moving into a water fast. I mean, there was a guy who was raw food that Lauren was talking about on one of his videos the other day that really struck me. 10 years raw food. So he's eating a proper diet, he's doing right, he's thinking positive, he's trying to get his emotions up, but he worked previous to that in a very toxic environment with toxic chemicals. Those toxic chemicals, what did I say? They get stored. They will get stored as your fat. And your body will also hide them in other places so as to protect the body, right? So he goes and he does a water fast. I don't know if he did a 14-day or 21-day or whatever amount of days, but he started to urinate after a certain amount of days water fasting, and he smelled the same chemical that he'd been working with 20 years ago now coming out in his urine, even though he had been on a raw food diet for 10 years. So again, when things get real serious and we really want to get real aggressive with it, water fasting, because that's the ultimate form of detoxification. It's talked about in the Bible. It's talked about from all advanced beings about water fasting and the stopping of killing. Death does not beget life. Those of you who have spouses, we had a guy that my brother brought to me who I was willing to treat for free, give him coaching over the phone for free, which I charge about $350 an hour for. Do it for free. And this fool didn't take advantage of it because his wife was a nurse, and the wife told him he shouldn't go that direction. And yet the modern medicine, allopathic medicine as it stands today, had no chance of a cure. They could get palliative treatment for the symptoms. And this guy, I'm sure, continues to go downhill every single day. Well, he can't hardly walk without assistance. I almost wonder if the wife is poisoning him. If you're out there, take a look. This is a toxic issue. And if a nurse or any doctor who is standing up for allopathic medicine, which is fine. Stand up for you, whatever you believe in. But if it ain't working, you gotta try something different. You gotta try something different, or you're gonna die and you're gonna suffer on the way out. And nobody wants to suffer on the way out. That's not how we want to go. So, again, the illusion of disease, when most of it is caused by chronic toxemia, chronic toxic acidosis, and a lot of us have no clue as to how to clean out our bodies. Okay, then I had a person the other day talk about, well, I guess I'll eat more kale. You're going to eat more kale? Your body will have a hell of a time digesting a lot of kale. If you're going to use kale, you probably should juice it. Okay? The video that I don't know if it's up yet. I have to see if it's posted yet. What I said, think like a gorilla. Is a gorilla going around eating kale? I doubt it. I don't even think kale grows in the damn tropics. Think like a gorilla for your maintenance diet, which is going to be raw food. And by the way, my mind is going to take me to 100% raw. I hope this year. Again, I don't put a whole lot of pressure on myself to go in a particular direction, because then you end up with a blowback, because you're essentially telling your mind, we're going to restrict you. And then there's a natural tendency, again, I talked about this tension to push back in the other direction. No, we want to get there at your pace. Some of you can get there in an instant. Have one lecture. I've had guys with one lecture. You want to get well? You go on a raw food diet. You stop meat. You stop the soy. You stop the crap. You stop most of your vegetable eating. You eat your dark green leafy vegetables that are soft. Kale is not one of them. But again, you can use kale on occasion, because it is chock full of vitamins, nutrition, and minerals. So I don't have a problem with kale per se. I'm not knocking the plant itself. I never use the broccolis or the cruciferous vegetables or any of those things to juice. But those you would have to cook if you were going to eat them, because the body would have one hell of a time breaking them down. You could probably juice broccoli, but Jesus Christ, the taste of that is bad enough. And most of your green drinks you don't taste that good. Again, you can do things to fool your body, to trick your body, and that's why I like the gorilla milk from Lou Corona. But the main thing is, you get creative, you get on the raw food diet. If you've never detoxified before, even if you're not sick, you need to do it, because your body has accumulated toxins. Now they're spraying crap in the air, we're breathing it in. We're drinking it, we're eating it, we're thinking it. We have a lot of folks that are walking dead with no conscious awareness. I don't like to use the word spirituality, but conscious awareness of who they really are. And most of us are suffering from an identity crisis. We have no idea who the hell we are. All right, most of us are imitating other people. You can't imitate other people. I mean, you got to be your own original self. There's only one Dr. Z, and I'm Dr. Z, and I can tell you about, I can give you the inside of what's going on in medicine. And most of your natural healers cannot, because they've never been trained in medicine before. Doesn't mean they're ignorant, doesn't mean they don't understand basic physiology, but they've never had the responsibility of having to actually treat a heart attack, which I had, even though I'm a neuropsychiatrist. When I went through medical school and residency, I had to treat everything. Neurological disease, I had to do spinal tap, I had to deliver babies, I had to do amputations from diabetics. All of it. I was responsible. And of course, you work in teams, but I had that responsibility on me. Now that I'm a 55-year-old fully developed physician, and the responsibility falls straight on me. When the lawsuits come, they come straight to me. Thank God, most of the lawsuits that I've ever encountered have been frivolous and not stuck. But that's the nature of society. Everybody wants to blame somebody, and nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves. And that's why I tell you, I don't treat illness anymore. I don't treat disease now. I will work in the emergency room or the emergency psychiatric inpatient units, where you have to use pharmaceutical medication when someone's coming in high on PCP or amphetamines and tearing up the place and completely psychotic, running out in the middle of the street, shooting off guns and running out in the middle of traffic causing accidents. You think we have time to wait for raw food diet and fruits? Get real. We will be using pharmaceuticals, so thank God we have pharmaceuticals. We don't throw out pharmaceuticals, folks. Or some of them should be thrown out. But actually, most of them should be thrown out, but there's some of them we absolutely have to have on an emergent or urgent basis. Okay, but if you want true cure, the natural therapeutic interventions will not work. There's only one true curative intervention, and that is detoxification. Nutrification, which is a word I made up, but you understand what I mean. Oxygenation. We'll talk some more about that. Pure sunshine. 20, 30 minutes a day direct sunshine, if you can get it. I know it's very difficult because we're in a lifestyle that doesn't think about that. Even I have to think about getting up in the morning and running outside and sitting on a chair and letting the sun hit my body with just my shorts on for 20 minutes. And if you do 20 minutes, that's probably good enough in a day. And then when I take vacations in areas where I'm going to be outdoors, exposed to sun. Okay? I want to be near the beach. I'm going to be near the trees. I'm going to be in Big Sur. I'm going to be in Lake Shasta. I'm going to be at a lake. I'm going to be on the water. I'm going to be doing things that are nature. I'm going to go fishing. Although I catch and release. I try not to eat the fish too much anymore because, well, my body's telling me don't. You have to listen to yourself, and this is probably me moving towards going towards 100% raw. But again, I don't want to be that 100% raw person that looks like a freaking broomstick either. I think that's insane. So you have to do it rationally, and you have to do it with some knowledge, and that's why you tune into this channel. So again, detox, detox, detox. Raw food lifestyle, raw food lifestyle, raw food consciousness. Connect yourself with other people who are moving in that direction. Go to some of the events that they have. If I hear about them, I'll let you know about them. I'll try and show up. So I'll make myself available to anybody for free. You'll see, I'm the one guy you can come to. I don't need your money. I'm doing fine. I have money. I've supported 2 families in the past. Actually, it's my family, but I went through a divorce, and so I had to pay child support and spousal support for a while. But that's neither here nor there. It's not about the money. You see, because the way I look at it, the universe is always going to take care of me because I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to wake people up. I'm doing these videos, and at my expense. The camera that is shooting me right now is a $3,000 camera. Did I have to have a $3,000 camera? No, but I wanted a camera that was going to last, that I could get some flexibility with, that I could take anywhere without worrying about it being damaged, without being fragile, that could take sound without me having to add a mic, although I'm going to probably add a lavalier mic sometime within the next month and see how the lavalier mic works. Then I'll use XLR mics. Please don't get me started on technology because I love technology. I can talk about it for years, but you know, I've got umbrella lights which I've turned off right now because I want to see how it does with just the one room light and how well this camera will do in a low light situation. So, this is also a test for that, and I think it's going to do all right. But normally I'll have the diffused light on, so it really lights up the room. And sometimes you see me in some of my videos, I'm like this, squinting. That's because I have all what, 1, 2, 3, 4 lights on at the same time, and just too bright. So I had to learn how to do the lighting. But all these lights cost money. There's thousands of dollars worth of lighting equipment. There's tripods, hundreds of dollars worth of tripods. There's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of computer equipment. And any of you ever gotten into video production know that you cannot store it on a terabyte drive. You cannot store it in the cloud. No, you got to actually have a redundant RAID terabytes. I have one 15 terabyte system, and I have another 18 terabyte system just for the videos. So this is costing me money. And then I have to have headphones. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. I did the website, 100% my own expense. Of course, I'm doing most of it by my own hand because I like the challenge of the technology. But there's nothing for me to sell you. You go on my website, there's nothing to buy right now. It's not that I'm proud of it, it's just the way it is. I don't have herbs to sell you. I don't have a water fasting clinic for you to come to. Might not not be a bad idea for when you get one though. I don't have products to go. Please go to my website and get products. Now, please go to my website and get educated. Okay, but then you know, I don't have to pay anybody to do any work. I do the work. You know, so I can keep some of the costs down. But you know, eventually, you guys will see the benefit in supporting me. And you know, if I go and give a talk, show up to the talk and support whoever it is that is giving me the opportunity to speak out in public. And for anybody that wants me to speak out in public, go to the website, drzhealingarts.net. Contact me through that, and I'll be happy to speak in public if I have the time to do so, and the travel schedule permits it. I'll be happy to do so, and sometimes for free. If I think it's important enough, and the audience is at a level, a conscious level enough where I don't have to start at A, B, C, D. We can just get into the real hot diggity dog of it all, the real meat and potatoes. Oh, excuse me, that's probably a bad word to say, because meat and potatoes is not a combination you want to get used to. So those of you who are eating, like Dr. Sebi said, blood and starch, stop it. That is a deadly combination. So let me not use meat and potatoes, but really get into the jiggy of a conscious elevation, a spirituality, metaphysics, raw food diet, and detoxification, where we can just jump into that, and then I can have private dialogues with people afterwards. I love doing that. But I just love to be around people who are in that frame of mind. And you know, for many years, a lot of us naturopaths or physicians that were awakened up, we'll find ourselves alone in the wilderness. We're given the event of video, of internet, of YouTube, of podcasting, of events being advertised through the internet where we might never hear about them. Now we can hear about them. Now we can hear people talking about them on YouTube and show our butts up. I know Dan and Lou are going to be down in, where did I say they're going to be? Down in Orange County, giving a talk. If I have some time, I'll go down there just to support them. They're not going to teach me anything new at this point in time, other than their, you know, listening to their experiences just motivates me and keeps me, you know, in that straight and narrow. Again, the more you hear it, the more people around you that are doing it, the more you're likely to keep it going. But again, you won't connect to those people unless you know that's the direction you want to travel. And my job is to get you to educate yourself and elevate yourself to the point where you know that's the direction to travel, is the only direction to travel. Okay? So, with that, peace out. Again, I'd like to wish everybody peace, power, and prosperity, and most of all, love to you and your families. It's Dr. Z coming to you straight from Southern California, straight from the Los Angeles area. drzhealingarts.net is the new website. Again, it's a work in progress, so don't go there expecting your mind to get blown. I got a lot of work to do on that site, and I'll get to it when I can, but I think right now the most direct way to deal with you guys is through videos. And then what I want to do, the next thing I do with the website is make sure that the website is connecting to these videos, so when you go to the website you can come directly to the channel and start to understand. And then with the other channel, Dr. Z Healing Arts channel, I'll start doing some product reviews and tell you what I use on a day-to-day basis to help me eat more raw foods, stay on more raw foods, and that have taken me from probably 20% raw foods to 30% to 40%, now 50% and 60%. Now I'm at 75% consistently. This is not a lie. This is not you know, something that to be proud of, except that I'm moving in the right direction. And then I'll go to 80%. Again, I've already gone a 90-day raw food and a detox, but I've never done a water fast. I've done juice fast, but I've never done a water fast, and so that's probably next on the agenda. By the way, colonic hydrotherapy is a therapeutic intervention, not a curative intervention, although it can be part of a detoxification program. So we got to get that clear. So I hope I made clear the difference between therapeutic intervention and curative intervention. Two different ball games altogether. One gets to the root of the problem, one does not. Although one can utilize these other therapeutic modalities to assist as you're going through the ultimate curative modality, which is detoxification. Okay, so with that, I love y'all, and let God consciousness come into everybody's heart, wake everybody up, get you on the right path. Don't allow your minds to be co-opted and taken over by the dark forces. Keep on the straight and narrow. Okay, don't let anybody sway you from what you know to be true. All right, listen to your intuition. Pay attention to your intuition. Develop that relationship with self, and stay on that path. And I'll be right there with you. It's a struggle. We didn't come down here for an easy time on planet Earth. We came down here to struggle. We came down here to have to fight and claw our way back to sanity, and we will be successful. Thank you.